أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Lesson number 254, Surah Ash-Shura, ayah number 20 to 35. من كان يريد حرث الآخرة, whoever desires the harvest of the hereafter, نزد له في حرثه, we will increase for him in his harvest. وَمَنْ كَانَ يُرِيدُ حَرْثَ الدُّنْيَا, and whoever desires the harvest of this world, نُؤْتِهِ مِنْهَا, we will give him some of it. وَمَا لَهُ فِي الْآخِرَةِ مِنْ نَصِيبٍ, but there is for him in the hereafter no share. He will have nothing in the hereafter. Why? Because he never wanted the hereafter. He never worked for the hereafter. Who will get reward in the akhirah? The one who desires the akhirah. And the one who only desires dunya, then Allah will give him some dunya, but nothing of the akhirah. Because إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ, and وَإِنَّمَا لِكُلِّ امْرِئٍ مَا نَوَى, every person will have whatever he intends for. So if a person desires the akhirah, that's what he will get. If a person desires the dunya, then he will get only some of it. Over here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, مَنْ كَانَ يُرِيدُ حَرْثَ الْآخِرَةِ. Yuridu is from irada. And what is irada? The intention. The reason why you do something. The reason behind an action. The objective, the purpose of an action. What you want to achieve by doing that. So, every person is doing something or the other. Isn't it so? إِنَّ سَعْيَكُمْ لَشَتَّى, that indeed your sa'i is different, diverse. Every person is struggling for something. And every person who is working has a goal. Why is he doing something? Over here, two things are mentioned. Either a person desires the akhirah or he desires the dunya. And remember, there are no other two objectives but this, because only these two are mentioned. Either a person is doing something for the sake of Allah, that's what his objective is. He wants reward from him in the hereafter. Or he's doing something because he wants immediate gratification. He wants some immediate results in the dunya. There are only two options. So over here, the two intentions are mentioned, and the results of those two intentions are also mentioned. First one, مَنْ كَانَ يُرِيدُ حَرْثَ الْآخِرَةِ, meaning in return for his actions, in return for his efforts, in return for all of his deeds, this person desires حَرْثَ الْآخِرَةِ. حَرْث. Notice the word sawab has not been used, but the word harth has been used. Because harth is used for crop. Haratha yahrithu is basically to plow the land and to sow the seed. So a person sows the seed, before that he plows the land, and then after that he starts looking after the crop. And after sowing the seed, the process of looking after the crop, that is called zara'a. That is called zara'a. Zayra'in. And harth is also used for the crop, the produce, the end final result, the fruit of the effort. So man kana yuridu harth al-akhirah, he is sowing his seed. Why? Because he wants the crop where? He wants the result where? In the akhirah. So his goal is to get reward, benefits in the hereafter. And this is why he busies himself in various good deeds. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says about this person, what will he get? He's sowing the seed, he's putting in effort in order to reap the benefits in the hereafter. What will this person receive? Allah says, نَزِدْ لَهُ فِي حَرْثِهِ, we will increase for him in his crop. Nazid from ziyada, we will increase, we will multiply. Meaning the reward for his efforts, the reward for his striving, the reward for his struggle, that is going to be increased. It's going to be multiplied. How is it going to be multiplied? In various ways. That first of all, the reward that he will get in the hereafter is going to be many times more compared to the effort that he has done. Isn't it so? That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is Al-Kareem. He is the one who is most generous, Ash-Shakur. So when He rewards a person, He doesn't just reward him one for one. No. He rewards the person many times more for the work that he has done. So a person puts in only one seed, but his goal is to get crop where? In the akhirah. So will he get only one in return? No, many times more. In Surah Al-Baqarah, ayah 261, we learn that the example of those people who spend in the way of Allah is like that of كَمَثَلِ حَبَّةٍ, like a grain. أَنبَتَتْ سَبْعَ سَنَابِلَ فِي كُلِّ سُنبُلَةٍ مِئَةُ حَبَّةٍ وَاللَّهُ يُضَاعِفُ لِمَن يَشَاءُ. Like a seed of grain which grows 7 spikes. You put one seed in, it grows 7 spikes. And in each spike is how many grains? 100 grains. And Allah multiplies His reward for whomsoever He wills. So a person, he is putting in effort, but how much reward will he get in the hereafter? If his intention is the akhirah, many times more compared to the effort that he put in. His reward will be multiplied in various ways, in terms of quantity, in terms of quality, and also in terms of muddah, in terms of time. Meaning that a person, he did one good deed, will he get only one reward in return? No. 10 times, 700 times, many times more, as much as Allah wants. In quality, a person puts in his effort, which is full of weakness, but with sincerity he does something exclusively for the sake of Allah. So will he get mixed things in the hereafter? No. What he will get in the hereafter is excellent, is best. And also in terms of muddah, that if a person spent one day, 1 hour doing something for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, will he get only 1 hour in Jannah? Will he get only 1 day in Jannah? No, he will get eternity in Jannah. So the reward is multiplied in quantity, in quality, in time, in various ways, because Allah, He is the one who is most generous. So نَزِدْ لَهُ فِي حَرْسِهِ. Also, نَزِدْ لَهُ فِي حَرْسِهِ has been understood as that we will multiply for him, we will increase for him in his reward. How? That he will not just get his house in the hereafter, but he will also reap the benefits in this world. When? When a person aims for the akhirah. His main goal is the akhirah. That is his ultimate desire. So when his ultimate desire is the akhirah, Allah will not make him wait until the akhirah so that he can enjoy something, so that he can reap the benefits of his efforts. No. He will also gain benefit in the dunya. نَزِدْ لَهُ فِي حَرْثِهِ. So what do we learn over here? That when a person strives for the akhirah, then there are double benefits. Aren't there? That first of all, he gets reward in the dunya. And secondly, what he will get in the hereafter is going to be many times more. So what should a person strive for? For the dunya or the akhirah? Akhirah. But what do we see here? That the main goal is akhirah, not dunya. Dunya is just side benefits. On the other hand, a person who strives only for dunya, وَمَنْ كَانَ يُرِيدُ حَرْثَ الدُّنْيَا, whoever desires the house of this world, meaning he's putting in his effort, he's doing whatever work he's doing, but his goal is to only gain benefit in the dunya. He wants immediate gratification, whether it's in the form of praise of people or appreciation, or he wants the result in the dunya. That is his ultimate goal. He's not concerned about the akhirah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, نُؤْتِهِ مِنْهَا. We will give him some of it. Some of what? Some of the dunya, some of what he desires, some of his house. Meaning, min over here is of tab'id, some of, part of. He will not get kullama arada. He will not get all that he desires, all that he wanted, but what will he gain? Only some of what he gained. Meaning his efforts, his rewards, they will not be multiplied. But rather he will receive only what has been fixed for him. Only what has been preordained for him. If you think about it, people want to achieve many things in this world, but do they get everything? No. Even people who are very successful, you can say that they have everything that they want. But still, if you ask them, there are many things that they want, but they're unable to get them. They're unable to receive them. Because in dunya, a person can only get what is fixed for him. In Surah Al-Isra, ayah 18, we learn, مَنْ كَانَ يُرِيدُ الْعَاجِلَةَ عَجَّلْنَا لَهُ فِيهَا مَا نَشَاءُ لِمَنْ نُرِيدُ ثُمَّ جَعَلْنَا لَهُ جَهَنَّمَ يَصْلَاهَا مَذْمُومًا مَدْحُورًا. That whoever should desire the immediate, meaning this dunya, We hasten for him from it what we will to whom we intend. Meaning we hasten for him whatever we want for whomsoever we want. Meaning every person who desires something of the dunya does not get it. Allah gives it to whomsoever He wants, whatsoever He wants. Then in the hereafter we have made for him hell, which he will enter to burn, censured and banished. This is why Allah says over here, وَمَا لَهُ فِي الْآخِرَةِ مِن نَصِيبٍ. He will have in the hereafter no share. Why? He never wanted it. He never intended it. He never strove for it. That was never his goal. So if he never desired the akhirah, why should he get the akhirah? This is the reason why a person should desire the akhirah in return for his deeds. Because performing actions, doing something for the sake of dunya is what? A loss. Because results are not guaranteed. Profit is not guaranteed. The wage is not guaranteed. But if a person aims for the akhirah, then if he's done what he's done with sincerity, then what do we learn over here? Then for the akhirah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, نَزِدْ لَهُ فِي حَرْسِهِ. First of all, the reward is guaranteed, and secondly, it's also going to be many times more. Now if you think about it, a person, he performs different types of actions. Like for example, he performs religious actions, such as salah, sadaqah, dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, tilawat al-Quran, different types of religious actions. And it's understood that when a person is doing anything like that, why is he doing it? Why? To get reward in the hereafter. Like when a person prays, why does he pray? Even when he's very tired, why is he praying? Because it's his obligation, it's a duty upon him, and he wants reward in the akhirah. When a person gives some of his wealth away for the sake of Allah, in the way of Allah, then he's parting from his wealth. Why would he do that? Obviously to get reward in the hereafter. So with regards to religious deeds, it's understood that if a person performs them properly, with sincerity, in the prescribed manner, hoping for reward from Allah, he will get reward in the hereafter. However, there is a question. Can a person perform the a'mal of dunya for akhirah? Amal of dunya such as eating, drinking, buying, selling, going to the store, getting groceries, coming back home, cleaning the house, washing the dishes, looking after your children, changing diapers. This is what? Amal of dunya. And the list is endless. Isn't it so? Driving somewhere, helping someone out. The list is endless. So can a person do amal of dunya for akhirah? Yes, he can. Because if you think about it, if a person does not do his amal of dunya even for akhirah, how much time would be wasted? What a waste of life. Because if you think about it, so much of our time in 24 hours goes in what? Amal of dunya. Especially as women. Some time you take to sleep. Other time you use in order to help other people, serve other people. And then you take time out for yourself, for ibadah. Yes, definitely we should be haris on that, but sometimes we have limited ability, limited time, too many responsibilities. But we see that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is so generous that out of His mercy, we can also perform the amal of dunya for the sake of akhirah and still get reward in the akhirah. But there are certain conditions. First of all, remember that there are two types of actions that people perform. Firstly, religious actions. And secondly, worldly actions. Religious actions, what are they? Rituals, acts of worship. And worldly actions, what are they? That are with regards to the dunya, fulfilling your needs, so on and so forth. And we see that even worldly actions, a person can perform with the intention to gain reward in the akhirah. But how? For example, a person goes to the grocery store to buy bread and butter. He's gonna get up, pick up the keys. Even picking up the keys is what? An amal, right? Going outside, sitting in the car, driving all the way, parking the car, going inside. All of this is what? An amal. So you're going all the way to buy bread, butter, your groceries. An hour goes, 2 hours go in that, and you come back home. But if the way is correct, the intention is correct, then reward can be received. How? That first of all, if you think about it, a person, when he is fulfilling a worldly need, he is doing it in fulfillment of the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because, for example, he is going to buy bread and butter. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, Kulu washrabu birrizqi Allahi wa la ta'thaw fil ardi mufsidin. Allah is telling us, eat and drink of the provision of Allah and do not do fasad in the earth. Kulu min tayyibati ma razaqnakum. Eat of the good things that we have provided for you. So when you go to the store, what will you buy then? Any junk? Tayyibat. And when you choose the best, the healthiest option, the very best option, even in choosing that is reward. Because sometimes we think, oh, why bother reading the ingredients? Who cares? No, there's reward even in that. Because you're choosing the best option for yourself. And when you will eat of the good things, you are doing that in fulfillment of the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Likewise, he is doing this. Why? In order to preserve his body, in order to preserve his health, in order to preserve his strength. If you don't eat proper, if you don't eat healthy, is your health going to get affected? Yes, it will be. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told us, وَلَا تَقْتُلُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ. Do not kill yourselves. And killing yourself, what does it mean? That a person commits suicide, or that a person does not take care of his health so that his body, his health deteriorates so that he's unable to do anything, and eventually his life gets affected, his lifespan even gets affected. So, he's going to the store, he's looking for the healthiest option, he buys the healthiest option, and then when he eats, what does he do? Eats extravagantly and sleeps endlessly. Is that what should be done? No. If a person eats properly, eats sufficiently, eats that which is good, eats that which is enough, then his body will feel better. He will gain strength from the food that he has eaten. And with the strength that he has gained, only then he'll be able to pick up the juz and do the lesson. Isn't it? Only then she'll be able to come to class and stay awake. Isn't it so? So when you eat proper, don't just eat for the sake of eating. Eat with the intention of getting better, of getting healthier, of getting energy, so that you can do something. And with this correct mindset, just imagine from the time you picked up your keys to the time you finished eating, this entire act can even be considered as an act of worship, bringing reward in the hereafter multiple times. نَزِدْ لَهُ فِي حَرْثِهِ. And when a person, he is enjoying the blessings that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to him, in that even is reward, when he is grateful. Because Allah, who is He? Al-Kareem, Al-Jawad, the one who is most generous. And the one who is generous, what does He like? That the gift He has given is used. Isn't it so? The one who is generous likes that the gift He has given is used. Imagine you have a guest staying in your house. If you're truly generous from your heart and you've placed some things in their room, some snacks, what will you want? That they eat them. They use them. But if you haven't put them over there with generosity, then you will wonder, have they eaten them? Have they left any? You understand? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is most generous. And what does He like? That the blessings that He has given should be used. So when a person uses them properly and he is grateful, then Allah is happy with him. This is why even worldly acts can be ibadah. When a person does them properly, when a person does them with the right mindset, when a person does them in order to get closer to Allah, in order to fulfill his responsibilities, to assist Him, so that he can gain more reward in the hereafter. So we see that there are certain conditions that a person has to fulfill when he is performing worldly actions. Because sometimes you think, oh yeah, I'm buying food, this is something good, and we buy endlessly, we buy with israf, and then half the stuff we throw. This is not correct. The thing is that intention must be correct, but the way, the approach, the method, even that should be correct. Then a person will get reward in the hereafter. So what are the conditions? That first of all, his intention should be correct. When a person is performing a worldly action, an amal of dunya, and he wants to get reward in the hereafter for it, what's the condition? That first of all, his intention should be correct. What intention should he have? That, for example, he is doing what he's doing in order to gain reward from Allah alone. For example, you're cooking, you're cleaning, mopping the floor. Nobody likes mopping the floor. Very few people do. So you're mopping the floor, and as you're mopping, you're like, what's the problem with these people? Can't they be more careful and not throw stuff everywhere and keep their crumbs to themselves? keep their hair to themselves? Why are people so careless? You could be thinking about such things. Or you could think at that time, I'm doing this for the sake of Allah. This is my contribution to the family. This is my contribution to this house, to this place that I'm living in. And I want reward from Allah. So what's the intention here? That you want reward from Allah. You understand? For the work that you're doing. Similarly, you're helping out your mother-in-law in the kitchen. You could be getting upset, why did she use so many dishes? Or you could say, no, I'm doing this for the sake of Allah. Let her do whatever she's doing. My time over here, I'm doing it for the sake of Allah. I want reward from Him. Worldly action, your intention is what? Akhirah. You get it? Then similarly, the intention is that a person is doing something that will facilitate him in his worship. So for example, you are driving. You are driving, but what's your intention? That you want to get to school so that you can learn. You want to go to the masjid so you can pray. Now, because of your intention, even the act of driving becomes what? Meaningful. Similarly, you eat properly. Why? So that you can worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that you can get up and pray. You understand? So, with the right intention, you can get reward in the akhirah as well through the amal of dunya. Similarly, a woman is looking after her children. She's teaching them, spending time with them. A, she could be upset. What a burden. Or B, she could think, I'm raising my children, and this is an investment, and inshallah when my children will grow older, they will serve the deen, they will become worshippers. So this is what? Because of the intention, everything she does for her children is what? An investment in the akhirah. So first thing is correct intention. The second thing is that a person must perform the action in the correct way, in the correct method, in the way that Allah has prescribed, in obedience to Allah, following the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ wherever applicable. Wherever applicable. So for example, when it comes to wearing your clothes, can you follow the sunnah over there? Can you? You can. When it comes to sleeping, can you follow the sunnah there? Yes, you can. When it comes to eating, can you follow the sunnah over there? Yes, you can. When it comes to leaving the house, coming in, can you follow the sunnah? Yes. So in these worldly acts, even when you follow the sunnah, when you do it in the way that Allah likes, then even these actions can be an investment for akhirah. Can be an investment so that a person can gain reward in the akhirah. So, the first is intention, the second is the method, that the way he does it with ihsan. And, okay, now there are some actions with regards to which the sunnah tells us what to do. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has fixed it. When it comes to eating, eat this, do not eat this. But there are some worldly actions with regards to which the method has not been prescribed by the Quran and Sunnah. Can you think of an example? Driving, for example. Driving a car. Okay, yes, definitely, you say the dua, you say Bismillah, but the method of your driving, so how can you make that in the correct way? So, for example, you drive with ihsan, you follow all the rules, you do it properly. Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told us that obey the rules as well. Be patient. You can do dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala while driving. That even when you're doing a worldly act, you don't find direct guidance from the sunnah concerning it, you can still make it an investment. How? By remembering Allah throughout. By doing it with ihsan. By doing it with sabr, with patience. That when a person faces some difficulties, some challenges, he bears them patiently. He doesn't complain. He doesn't create a fuss. He doesn't remind others of favors. But rather he does it with patience, and he does it with ihsan, and he has calmness throughout, remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala throughout these actions. So we see that a person who intends for reward in the hereafter, his ultimate goal is the akhirah, what should he do? He should exert all of his efforts with the akhirah in mind. And when the akhirah is in mind, then doing every action becomes easy as well. Then your driving back and forth will also become easy. Then your cooking and cleaning will also become easy. I'm not saying that then you will spend hours cooking, you'll spend hours cleaning. No. that even those 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour that you're spending, it will not feel like a burden. Because sometimes what happens, we're doing these things and we just want to run away. We don't want to do them. But you have to do them if you have to live, isn't it? It's a part of life. So it makes you a happier person. It makes you a content person when the akhirah is your goal. So a person who wants the akhirah, what should he do then? He should do every action that he does, amal of dunya, amal of deen, with what in mind? The akhirah in mind. And when he has the akhirah in mind, then Allah will accept his efforts in the best way. And He will increase for him his reward. How? That He will give him not just in the akhirah, but also before that, in the dunya. And He will give him more in return, many times more, in terms of quality, in terms of quantity, in terms of duration. And this is in contrast to the dunya, where a person puts in so much effort to gain something, but does he get everything in return? No. A person is working somewhere. Every person, what does he think? I'm not being paid as much as I should be paid. Isn't it? If a person works somewhere, this is what he thinks. I'm not being paid justly. I should receive some benefits. I should receive some bonus, a raise. This is what a person wants. That every year, with his improved work, there should be improved pay as well. But akhirah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says about it in Surah Al-Waqi'ah, ayah 33, that even the fruits of Jannah, la maqtu'atin wa la mamnu'ah. Neither limited nor forbidden. They're not limited. You can't put a stop. You can't put a limit to the reward in the hereafter. And they're not forbidden either. That the difference is that when a person is doing something for the dunya and he gets some benefit from the people of dunya, that benefit, that reward is limited. Why? Because a person can only pay you for the work you've done. Can they pay you for the effort? For the sacrifice? For your love? For your dedication? For your sincerity? You can't put a price tag on that. No way. The kind of work that you're doing, even that you can't put a price tag on. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He rewards abundantly. Not just for the effort, not just for the result, but for the intention, the sacrifices that a person had to make, the dedication, the determination with which he did the work. And for every step, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rewards a person. What do we learn in Surah At-Tawbah? That when people go out in the way of Allah, they don't cross any valley, they don't take any step, except that Allah writes for him an amal salih for that. Every step, it's the highest paying job. When a person works for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, hope and reward in the hereafter. So who is the wise person? The person who does every deed with the akhirah in mind. And the dunya, it's not his ultimate goal. What's his ultimate goal? The ultimate goal is the akhirah. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's so generous that He will, out of His kindness, not just reward this person in the akhirah, but He will also give him reward in the dunya. نَزِدْ لَهُ فِي حَرْثِهِ. So just one side point, that if a person has his goal as the akhirah, but he does gain some worldly benefit, should he think that, if I'm getting this worldly benefit, I won't get reward in the akhirah? No. It's not like that. It's a bonus. It's just a bonus. It's just tilka bushra ajila. It's just good news that has come very soon to a person. That has come quickly to a person. So, this is why it's necessary that a person keeps reminding himself, my goal is the akhirah. My goal is the akhirah. And when he gets reward in the dunya, he should enjoy it with happiness. However, he should keep his goal, the akhirah. There are some actions, like for example, eating, drinking. You do them the way you do them because you are following the sunnah. For example, eating with the right hand, drinking with the right hand. And they become a habit. And each time you use your right hand to eat, you don't have that niyyah that I'm following the sunnah. Do you get it? You understand? So, what about this? Does it mean that a person, for every action that he does, he should be conscious, I'm eating with my right hand because I'm following the sunnah? Some scholars say that, yes, a person must have niyyah, but other scholars say that, no, it's understood. If a person is doing it, this is why he's doing it. The niyyah is not active in his mind. However, if he's doing it in that way, he has developed that habit has emerged from what? Following the sunnah. This is where it began from. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is generous, He knows about His servants. And if you think about it, what's the opposite of that? What's the opposite of eating with the right and left hand? You wouldn't do that, right? But if a person does that, then that shows that he needs to renew his intention. Because sometimes just out of habit we're walking and all of a sudden we start eating with our left hand. No. Left hand, no way. When you've changed a habit, when you've developed a habit, when you've switched to something else, that you say to yourself, now I'm going to follow the Sunnah, I'm only going to eat with my right hand, then from that point onwards, every time you eat with your right hand, your intention is there. Even if it's not 100% active in your heart and mind, but that is the goal. So we see that there are, three states. One is that a person has an intention, a good intention. The other is a person has a bad intention. And the third is that a person has no intention. Now, usually when we're doing things, we do it with the third state of mind, no intention. But remember that even this category, it's not 100% liked. Because what happens is that when a person starts doing things with this mindset, then he's not as earnest, he's not that desirous for the reward in the akhirah. Practically, it's not possible that every time you eat, you have that niyyah. But every now and then, we should revive our intention. We should remind ourselves why we're doing what we're doing. Because if we don't revive the intention, then eventually the action even, it goes away. Doesn't it? It goes away eventually. So you have to keep reviving your intention. So, the wise person is who? The one who does every deed with the akhirah in mind. And on the other hand, the second person who is mentioned in this ayah is who? The one who does not strive for the akhirah. But his ultimate goal is the dunya only. So a person whose goal is dunya only, what do we learn from this ayah? Allah will deny him the akhirah. Allah will not give him anything in the hereafter. No naseeb for him in the hereafter. Why? Because he did not strive for it. Whatever he did it for the dunya. Therefore, he will receive the fruit of his efforts where? In dunya only. But will he receive everything? Only some of it. Only some of what he wants. Only some of what he strove for. Now over here we have to become very clear. Because sometimes we see some people doing a lot of good things. They have left great athar in the dunya. And they have died as who? As someone who has not submitted himself to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So should we be saying to that person, rest in peace? No. Why? He never desired the akhirah. He never intended the akhirah. His ultimate goal was the dunya. So if his ultimate goal was the dunya, Allah gave him whatever he wanted in the dunya. Remember that there are different types of shirk. One type of shirk is saying that other religions are also okay. One type of shirk is considering that people of other faiths are also correct and that Allah will reward them, He will not punish them. This is also a type of shirk. Why? Because a person is worshipping other than Allah and you're saying that's okay. In a way, it's supporting shirk as well. It's acknowledging shirk. Whatever it is, but the main point that I'm making over here is that if we say a person has been striving for dunya, and when he dies, we start praying for him, and when he dies, we start saying, yes, Allah will definitely reward him, this is incorrect. Because Allah says very clearly over here, the one who desired dunya, he will only get some of dunya. He will have nothing in the hereafter. And Allah, He is most generous. He is the one who is most just. The person never wanted the akhirah, so who are we to say Allah should give him the akhirah? Allah is very generous. The one who wants the akhirah, Allah will give him so much. But the one who doesn't want the akhirah, Allah will not give him anything of it. Because the matter of the hereafter is very serious, and we have to be very, very careful when we go and press like, and when we go and reshare some posts. We have to be very careful, because sometimes, without even thinking, we go and say things. We go and acknowledge things. We go and support them. And a very disturbing statement that I came across, somebody shared it with me, that those of you who worshipped Steve Jobs know that he has died. And those of you who worship apple, the almighty apple, know that it is living and it will keep coming. What kind of a statement is it? What kind of a statement is it? Tell me. Does it befit a Muslim to even say such words? It does not. This is not right. He was a good man. Many people are good people. They did what they did. They have left great athar in the dunya. They have made lives of so many people very easy. And ultimately, who is the judge? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But we have to be careful. A person who wants dunya, he will get dunya only. No matter how much he has accomplished, no matter how much he has done, he will only get dunya. Who will get the akhirah? Only the person who strives for the akhirah. And this is something very scary. We have to learn from it. We have to learn from this example that a person can become very great. A person can accomplish many great things of this dunya. He can change, he can have an effect on every single child of this world even. However, if the akhirah is not the goal, what does Allah say? He will not get the akhirah. Simple as that. And the thing is that we are supposed to make dua for non-believers when they're alive. Yesterday, what do we learn? فَلِذَلِكَ فَادْعُوا. For that reason, call. Call them. The Messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, why was he sent? لِتُنْذِرَ يَوْمَ الْجَمْعِ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ فَرِيقٌ فِي الْجَنَّةِ وَفَرِيقٌ فِي السَّعِيدِ. While people are alive, we are not concerned for them at all. We don't care for them at all. We don't even realize our responsibility of doing da'wah, of getting up to that standard so that we are able to talk to them, we're able to send the message of Islam to them. And when they die, we say, oh, why wouldn't Allah reward them? Why would Allah not send them to paradise? Look how great of a person they were. Allah is very generous, and this ayah is an evidence of His generosity. When Allah says, نَزِدْ لَهُ فِي حَرْثِهِ. Look at how generous He is. نَزِدْ لَهُ فِي حَرْثِهِ. So if Allah decides not to give to someone, it's because that person never wanted it. Simple as that. Very simple. So we learn from this ayah that for a person, it is very, very important that whatever he does it with the akhirah in mind. When he does it with the akhirah in mind, then his every action should be done sincerely for the sake of Allah. Should be done in a way that Allah and His Messenger have instructed us. Should be done with ihsan. Should be done with patience. And if a person is just investing in the dunya, then in fact he is short-selling himself. In fact, he is underselling his efforts. Because this dunya can never pay you fairly for what you have done. Only Allah can give you in the hereafter the true result of your deeds.
Let's listen to the recitation.
من كان يريد حرث الآخرة نزد له في حرثه ومن كان يريد حرث الدنيا نؤته منها وما له في الآخرة من نصيب.
Anything you'd like to say before we continue?
So basically only two types of plans a human being really make, either the short-term planning or the long-term planning. And here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning the better one deal is which one? The long-term one. Because when you make a short-term planning, yes, you get everything, sometimes everything, and sometimes even you lose. But when it's a long-term planning, sometimes apparently it looks like you're not getting anything. But again, it's a kind of thing you're investing in the akhirah. And the example you gave us previously, the Umar radiallahu anha's son, whatever he loved the most, he used to give it in the way of the Allah. Why? He was making a long-term planning. He wanted it
in the akhirah. Some people, they're only dunya oriented. And others, they are akhirah oriented. Being dunya oriented means what? That whatever a person does, he only wants a reward in the dunya. And he wants immediate results. He wants to see immediate results. Even when he makes dua, what does he want? Immediate result. It's apparently a religious action, but he wants immediate results. So he is dunya oriented. And the other is that a person is akhirah oriented. That whatever he is doing, he wants results in the hereafter. Now if you see people who are dunya oriented, who want their result in the dunya, how do they do their work? How? Just for some time. If a person has a big goal in mind, he wants to bring about a huge change, What will he do? Will he spend only some time doing that work? No. He will spend hours and hours doing what he's doing. Will he feel tired? Even when he's sick, will he stop doing his work? No. Will he ever waste his time in doing useless things? No. And whatever time he is spending in doing what he wants to achieve, does he consider that time to be a waste of time? No. Does he find it boring at all? No. So similarly, if we say that we want to be akhirah oriented, then how should our deeds be? How should our deeds be? Consistent? Should we just spend some time doing the ibadah of Allah or more time? More time. And when we're doing it, should we feel bored? Should we feel as though we're wasting our time? That we start preferring other things over it? No. Whatever goal you have, you will spend more time for it. You will spend more energy in it. You will focus on it. But depending on what your goal is. You will not get bored of it. Dunya-oriented people, they show it with their actions. Endlessly, tirelessly, they're doing their work. And if we claim to be akhirah-oriented, we claim to want reward in the hereafter, then we also have to show it with our efforts and our actions. So, مَنْ كَانَ يُرِيدُ حَرْثَ الْآخِرَةَ نَزِدْ لَهُ فِي حَرْثِهِ وَمَنْ كَانَ يُرِيدُ حَرْثَ الدُّنْيَا نُؤْتِهِ مِنْهَا وَمَا لَهُ فِي الْآخِرَةِ مِنْ نَصِيبٍ. And he will have no share in the hereafter. Nothing in the hereafter, because he never desired it. And we see over here that one of the main things that must be corrected is intention. Isn't it so? Intention, niyyah. This is something that we have to constantly refresh, constantly revive, constantly keep checking. Because if the niyyah changes, then the whole action is gone. We learned that Sufyan al-Thawri, he said, I have never struggled to rectify something that is more difficult to overcome than my soul. Sometimes I win and sometimes I lose. The most difficult thing to rectify, the most difficult thing to fix is what? Your nafs. And part of that is correcting your niyyah, correcting your intention. So this is one of the most challenging things to do. And a person has to be very careful concerning it, because we sometimes don't pay much attention to intention. Isn't it? We're usually in that third state, having no intention. We learned that a pious man, he once said, that whenever you find a person testifying sincerely to their sincerity, then their sincerity needs sincerity. Do you get it? Whenever you find a person testifying sincerely to their sincerity, then their sincerity needs sincerity. So if a person says, yeah, no, I just want reward in the akhirah. I just want reward from Allah. This is my only goal. The more a person says it, the more sincerity they need. So we need to stop saying this a lot, and instead we need to start doing a lot.
It seems so long, but when we started saying that in Jannah, inshallah, it seems like it's so quick now. Like, every time we go for a grocery, even when we're carrying our heavy bags, it was like, in Jannah, Mama, in Jannah. And every time, it seems like we walk only for half an hour or something. It becomes easy. Every time you say that you're doing things because you have the difficulties here, but you have that in mind that in Jannah you're not going to have it anymore, then everything would be easy for you. And Allah will make it easy for you. And He knows how hard you struggle and all that stuff. And so He knows how difficult it is. So He makes it easy. And for you to have that easy, then you don't mind doing it.
So the first benefit of having the akhirah in mind is that the difficulty, it becomes easy. Right? And on top of that, you actually start enjoying the difficulty. Do you? Have you ever experienced that? That you don't mind the difficulty. You really don't mind it. You start enjoying it. People feel bad for you. People pity you. But you enjoy it. Because you know that everything you're doing, every step you're taking, every effort that you're putting in, inshallah you'll get reward for it. Then you forget the difficulty. You overcome it. Because you're enjoying the work that you're doing. Because you are akhirah oriented. Just like a person who's dunya oriented, whose goal is dunya, he's doing his work, he's so tired, he's so exhausted, but he's still doing it. Why? He's enjoying his work. He doesn't complain then.
I think same thing related with today's lesson, that some people, then they say, what about the Harsat Dunya? It's not going to come again. And this was a challenge she was facing regarding her son, that whenever she tries to give him advice, every time he says, Mom, this youth, I'm young, let me do what I want to do, because my this age will never come again. And I was thinking, because one of the part of the Iman is this, وَبِالْآخِرَةِ هُمْ يُوقِنُونَ. So I was thinking, how can I give her the right answers? So the problem shooting, what we need to do, we don't have the yaqeen that yes, in the hereafter we would be get young again. And that is the real place to get chill. What we think, we say, okay, what about this thing? What about this enjoyment? This time would never come.
And look at what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says over here, نَزِدْ لَهُ فِي حَرْثِهِ. It's not just that a person has to wait until the akhirah to get reward. No. He will also reap the benefits in dunya. Dunya is written for every person, believer or disbeliever. But the akhirah is something that you have to strive for.
Just thinking that we just spoke about that every action can become meaning a source of ibadah first. And we take things so lightly. Like for example, even if, people post things all the time. People update their statuses all the time. Or they write weird things all the time or funny things all the time. Just to make people laugh. Yeah. Or just to make people laugh, like, oh, I'm such and such. Or, just weird comments. And I was thinking that even this could even be a source of ibadah, or it could even be a source of punishment for you. Because you're encouraging something which is possibly haram, which is possibly shirk, which is possibly something that's disliked in our deen, but you're encouraging that. Instead, you could use that to earn yourself some good deeds in the hereafter. Because that could be, who knows, a source of sadaqah jariyah for you, because you wrote something nice. Because someone read that and said, hey, you know what? That's a sunnah I should revive too. Instead of saying, oh, look, she's making fun of this. Oh, that's excellent. That's so funny. I should make fun of that too.
Exactly. So a person whose goal is the akhirah, he becomes very careful. Very careful with everything that he does, everything he shares, everything he promotes, everything he encourages. Because he knows that eventually he's going to see it in the akhirah, and he doesn't want to see anything that will ruin his reward, that will waste his efforts. Be in the company of those whose goal is the akhirah as well, because when their goal is akhirah, only then you can do something good.
I was thinking that, whenever you go to the store and you want to buy something, we always look for the best offer, like whatever is on sale, we buy that. So here you've been given two choices. One is that you desire the dunya, and if you desire the dunya, then you don't get the akhirah, and you get some of the dunya, not all of it. And then if you desire the akhirah, not only do you just get the akhirah, but you also get the dunya. So why would you go for the dunya then if you're getting better choice?
A better deal.
Assalamu alaikum. This ayah kind of reminds me of this one person that I know of. Everybody needs reminder, and this one person, we all have handphones, right? And so in his handphone, he has to-do list. So every time the phone rings or whatever, he sees it. But one of the to-do lists is orient heart to Qibla. So whenever I see that, it also reminds me. And also the same person, what he does is, he wouldn't sleep unless he faces the Qibla. So whatever your room model is or anything like that, he would change the position of the bed so that he can sleep also on his right side and also facing the Qibla. So every day you're reminded. And I just wanted to share that.
So even the act of sleeping, follow the sunnah and make that a source of reward. So that all the time that a person is sleeping, inshallah, even that is an investment. Because with the sleeping, what does he want? Reward in the akhirah.
I have a quote from Ibn Taymiyyah. It says, in this world is a paradise. Whoever does enter it will not enter the paradise of hereafter.
So whoever enters the paradise of this dunya will not enter the paradise of the hereafter.
Let's listen to the recitation.
من كان يريد حرث الآخرة نزد له في حرثه ومن كان يريد حرث الدنيا نؤته منها وما له في الآخرة من نصيب.
من كان يريد حرث الآخرة نزد له في حرثه ومن كان يريد حرث الدنيا نؤته منها وما له في الآخرة من نصيب.
من كان يريد حرث حرث الآخرة نزد له في حرثه ومن كان يريد حرث الدنيا نؤته منها وما له في الآخرة من نصيب.